What's up, guys? And today we have some breaking news. Odell Beckham Jr. has signed with the Los Angeles Rams. I'm back, but today we are going to see if Odell Beckham Jr. makes the Los Angeles Rams a Super Bowl contender, as this adds a lot more firepower to their offense. The Rams are currently one of the top teams in the NFC with the record of 7-2, but they are trying in a race to try to beat the Arizona Cardinals out in the NFC West, and adding OBJ is a move that they hope can win them the Super Bowl. Remember, the Rams are a win now team, and adding Von Miller and then OBJ mid-season again solidifies their chances of winning a Super Bowl, and trading all their first round picks for Matthew Stafford and other players really shows that they are not in rebuild mode. They have to win now, and if they don't win now, they're going to lose players, and then in the future they will have first round picks, and then they're screwed. But getting a Super Bowl ring at this price would totally be worth it, because at the end of the day, you want to win a Super Bowl. So they already have Matthew Stafford. They get Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, and Van Jefferson. Beckham became a free agent when he cleared waivers on Tuesday after being released by the Cleveland Browns. So in Los Angeles, he replaces Deshaun Jackson, who was released last week, and Jackson signed with the Las Vegas Raiders this week. So Beckham is younger than Deshaun Jackson. Not quite the speedster, but still a really good deep threat. He's one of the most talented receivers in football, with the route running, the spectacular catches, and all of that stuff. So he is the second high-profile player added by the Rams this month, after Los Angeles signed Von Miller, who's yet to play a game for the Rams, but he is going to make his debut this Sunday. So Miller welcomed Beckham to Los Angeles on his Instagram story, posting, "Let's chase this ring, family." Beckham was also welcomed to LA by Lakers superstar LeBron James, one of his good friends, who has tweeted, "Welcome to LA, my brother OBJ. It's go time." So the Browns excused Beckham from practice last week while the sides negotiated his exit. He asked to be traded but never developed an on-field connection with Browns quarterback Baker Mayfield. And Beckham forced his release last week when his father made an 11-minute video on social media hours before the trade deadline on plays which Mayfield didn't pass him the ball. The three-time Pro Bowl selection has 17 catches, 232 yards, and 0 touchdowns in 6 games this season. So the Rams play the 49ers 3-5, who are 3-5 this week on Monday Night Football. So Odell Beckham Jr.'s problems in Cleveland, a reason why he wasn't successful, is because, one, he and Baker Mayfield never really had a connection, and they were just forcing the ball to him, and defenses were keying in on Beckham, and they really just didn't connect on a lot of throws. And so Beckham and the Browns are both in better places. The Browns are a much better football team without Beckham. You can just look at the stats, and Beckham will probably do better without the Browns. But he joins an offense that has Cooper Kupp, who's been like the best receiver in the NFL, like so far. He is on record pace, already 1,019 yards through 9 games, and he's got 10 touchdowns with a long of 59, 113 yards per game. He is absolutely crazy, helping Matthew Stafford, who has 2,771 yards and 23 touchdowns to 6 interceptions in just 9 games. And Darrell Henderson's been running the ball nicely with 562 rushing yards through 9 games. Sony Michel has 271. So they are definitely doing good on the ground. 5 rushing touchdowns for Darrell Henderson, 1 for Michel, and even 1 for Robert Woods through 9 games. So as a team, the Rams score 29 points per game while allowing 21.8 points per game. So the offense is really explosive. their questions are on the defensive side of the ball. Their points, they have 261 points to 196, and their first downs, their total first downs, they get 201 to 196 against their opponents. So they're definitely a good team. They've been outscoring their other teams as shown by their record right here. So they do score a lot of points. However, if you're allowing 21 points per game, that is definitely not the best. So they're coming off a big loss to the Tennessee Titans, 28-16, where the Titans pass rush was definitely a big reason, their defense really stepping up. And then their back-to-back picks in the second quarter was what really separated them. Their defense did good on the Titans. The Titans scored on that short field a couple of times, but rushing, they really weren't to get much going. No rusher had over 30 yards rushing for the Titans. But Rams' Matthew Stafford obviously struggled in that game. It was more of the pass rush, but as Mike Vrabel was coaching up that defense, Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp. Robert Woods had 98 yards and Cooper Kupp had 95. And Jalen Ramsey also had an interception. So the Rams were turning the ball over, getting sacked, playing sloppy, and they really were stale on offense that game, which led to the Titans winning. So both sides of the ball struggled in that game. That was both without OBJ and Von Miller. So this defense has been mediocre this year. So their defense in terms of sacks was number 1 per game. So they were in front of, or number 1 in total sacks. They were in front of Cleveland and Minnesota. So this was before Von Miller came, because they have the most sacks. Aaron Donald has 6 sacks, which leads the Rams on their team. But Matthew Stafford leads the league in passing yards with 2,771. And the Rams are the number 1 passing offense in terms of yards in the NFL. That is above Tampa Bay, Kansas City, 3rd, Las Vegas in 4th, and then Arizona in 5th. So they're scoring, they're number 5 in the NFL at 29.0 points per game, number 1 in sacks, and they're number 3 in receiving. In terms of rushing offense, though, the Los Angeles Rams, the Rams are 19th in the NFL in terms of rushing offense. So definitely not as good running the ball. The Rams do rely on some play action and stuff, but Sean McVay is a very good play caller. So this offense should be pretty good. They definitely do have some issues upon that offensive line and some inconsistencies in running the ball, as shown in the Titans game, and they didn't make any additions there. So they make an addition to their receiving unit. They are tied with Tampa Bay as the best receiving core in the NFL. Arizona is definitely up there, but they have Cooper Kupp, who is the best receiver right now in football. I mean, the stats show that he's going off this year. Robert Woods is a really good route runner and receiver and is in the shadow of Cooper Kupp, but OBJ. So the scary thing is OBJ and Robert Woods will be going up against lesser corners, and you're going to get many mismatches in the passing game. So this offense will be very difficult to face. So they're going to probably drop more guys in coverage, and then that's going to make it easier to run the football. So basically the key to stopping the Rams is going to have to be pass rush, even though coverage helps the pass rush. It gives them more time to get to the quarterback when no one's open. Then the pass rush has more time. It keeps the ball in the quarterback's hands and allows for the sack. So it's going to be really hard to cover these receivers, and that would definitely help them. Defensively, though, Von Miller will help this Rams pass rush even more, which is number 1 in sacks this year. So Von Miller, Leonard Floyd, Aaron Donald creates more opportunities for these guys to get after your quarterback. So your offensive line is going to be tested. And in terms of interceptions, total interceptions, the Rams are number 2. So they take the ball away. So they are a very good team. Um, they're going to be really scary. Definitely a Super Bowl contender. They are the team I picked to go to the Super Bowl. They're the team I said was going to be NFC champions. And that prediction could very well be true, but I had them losing to the Super Bowl. To the Browns, are the Browns going to win the Super Bowl now that I look at it? I don't really think so. But OBJ leaving the Browns looked very good against the Bengals. So maybe the Browns turn into that team from last year that lost OBJ and make it to the divisional. But the AFC is really weak this year. There's a lot of question marks. So who knows? Maybe the Browns do pull off the miracle. But right now, the Rams are one of the favorites to win the Super Bowl. I think the NFC is going to win the Super Bowl. All the top teams are in the NFC. So the Rams' remaining schedule looks like this. They have the 49ers on Monday Night Football. The 49ers are done. They lost to the Cardinals practice squad, Colt freaking McCoy, and allowed James Conner to go crazy. The 49ers are not a good team, so the Rams should win this. However, in the past, the 49ers have had the Rams number in a lot of games, so this is definitely not as sure of a win as you think, but the Rams are by far much more talented. This secondary for the Niners is going to struggle versus these weapons, and the pass rush and defense for LA should be just fine. Bye week happens, then coming off the bye against the Packers do get Bakhtiari back. This offensive line for the Packers has been playing well despite so many injuries. This team has been playing well despite so many injuries. Devondre Campbell has been the best linebacker, but without Alexander, of course, to back surgery, this secondary is going to be very tested. But you see the Packers' pass rush has been very good, and one thing from the Titans we saw is the Packers' pass rush can take advantage of teams and be sneaky. The Titans kind of laid out that blueprint. The Packers have the playmakers on the defensive end, but the Rams do give up a fair share amount of points, and I do believe the Packers have a better quarterback and they have the scheme, and I think it's going to be a very toss-up game, but it's in Lambeau Field. I do think the Rams will lose at least one more game. They should very easily be able to beat the Jaguars. Very easily. The Jaguars are just not good. Trevor Lawrence is in his rookie year and is struggling. And they did beat the Bills. Josh Allen did beat Josh Allen. The Rams are just a far superior team, talent-wise and coaching-wise. So the Rams should win that game, but you never know in today's NFL. The Cardinals, week 14, assuming the Cardinals are healthy with Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins most likely back by now at this point. This should be a very entertaining game. We obviously saw the Cardinals destroy the Rams as their only other loss in the season. This is going to be a high-scoring game. Ramsey, Aaron Donald, and Miller. This defense will definitely pose some challenges to the Cardinals. The pass rush is going to be the Rams' key to win. The Cardinals could sweep them. As much as I want to pick the Cardinals here, the Cardinals' pass defense has been very good. They just haven't faced weaponry as good as the Rams this whole year. They haven't faced receivers this talented. So this is going to be a very big challenge, and the Cardinals' run defense has been struggling. So it's in Arizona, but it makes sense that the Rams and Cardinals would split this year. Seattle with Russell Wilson back, giving the Rams. I mean, the Seahawks defense has been atrocious. Russell Wilson's going to keep you somewhat in the game, but the Rams offense has too much firepower, and the Seattle offensive line is going to struggle with that pass rush. Rams over the Vikings. The Vikings are just really not that good this year. This defense isn't good. The Vikings don't really try to win games. They just play to stay in the game. They don't really do anything, like they're not as aggressive. Dalvin Cook's facing some charges, but there's some controversy going on off the field too. This secondary is bad. This defense is bad. They're getting out-coached. This offense is talented, but they're just not on the same level as the Rams. Now the Ravens are an interesting team. They're basically Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson carries this offense. He's their rushing offense. He's their passing offense. He's their playmaker. And Mark Andrews is very good. They have a lot of good players, but this defense has regressed. Their pass rush away has been good, but I think that the secondary for the Ravens has been underwhelming. Marlon Humphrey has regressed, and this team has looked vulnerable, and the Rams here should win this game. And yeah, so that's 17 weeks. Week 18, they should sweep the Niners. However, the Niners could split one. So they're for sure definitely going to make the playoffs. They're just going to have to compete with the Packers. They're going to have to really need to get that number one seed. They don't have to, but that number one seed would help a lot. So the Cardinals, the Packers, the Buccaneers, and the Cowboys all stand in their way. Honestly, if I was ranking NFC teams, it would be really tough, but the Buccaneers do rank up there. The Buccaneers and Rams. The Buccaneers offense, I think, is still going to be a bit better just because the Buccaneers have a much better offensive line. Defensively, I think the Rams have a better defense. I mean, it's close. The Buccaneers have a better run defense. The Rams have a better pass defense, but both can be taken advantage of. The Cowboys, I think they've been looking very good, but that loss to the Broncos really does concern me. That defense can be taken advantage of. Micah Parsons, Randy Gregory, Trayvon Diggs are all really good, but if you can get around their playmakers, you definitely can score a lot on them. So all these offenses are really explosive. I think the Packers have the best defense in the NFC right now, but their offense isn't quite on par. I think if the Packers get all healthy, if they stay healthy, that's really been an issue. If Rodgers can stay out of COVID, I think this team will be just fine. Getting Bakhtiari back is huge, and this offensive line, if they can continue performing above level, then I think this will help. But the Rams will really have to beat out the Cardinals for the NFC West. If they get in the wild card, they could be a very sneaky wild card team, but the Cardinals really need to watch out for the Rams. They need to stay above the Rams. They need to make sure they win the rest of their games. Looking at the Cardinals games here, the Cardinals should be beating the Panthers. They should be beating the Seahawks, both underwhelming teams. Even with Russell Wilson, Cam Newton's coming to Carolina, but I don't think that's really going to make the Panthers all that great of a team. Sam Darnold has been holding them back. I think they might be a better team with Cam Newton, but I don't think the Panthers are there just yet. They're always good for a couple of games of the year, and then they kind of fall off. The Bears is a very winnable game. The Lions, both these teams are bad. All these teams have been bad this year. These are all winnable games. The Colts are a game that could go either way. The Seahawks, they should sweep. So it really comes down to this Cowboys game. If the Cowboys beat them, they're still the number one seed. So this doesn't, as you can see here, they're still over the Rams. So they're just going to have to beat out the Buccaneers and the Packers to get that first round bye. So the Rams are really banking on the Cardinals to really lose one of these games. They should win, like a Lions loss. That's what the Rams are like. That's not going to happen, but like they're hoping the Seahawks can maybe steal it, right? Or the Colts could pull off an upset. So that's really what they're focusing on. But as long as Murray stays healthy, this Cardinals team should win this division. 15-2. They could even go 16-1 if they're really on fire. But I think they're most likely gonna lose to the Rams and one of these teams in here. But I think they should go 14-3. The Packers already have 2 losses. The Buccaneers already have 2 losses. So the Cardinals really have breathing room to lose 1 or 2 more games. So the Packers' remaining schedule, definitely not easy. The Russell Wilson coming back, definitely scary. But if Aaron Rodgers plays in that game, that should be a win. So their really toughest game is the Browns and the Ravens, and those are definitely winnable games. So, but I would say the Rams are definitely in good position. It really comes down to that NFC West race, but I think they're going to go 14-3 to finish the year, make the playoffs. So I went ahead and basically kind of went through and picked the teams I thought would win. So this is my projected playoffs. Definitely not going to be correct, but can fluctuate. So I'm gonna pick which teams I think will win. Browns because their run game and defense and stuff. I don't know. Ravens and Bills. I guess Bills here. This isn't really any deep stuff. Chargers over the Steelers. I mean, the Rams should beat the Cowboys for sure. It's in Dallas, but the Rams have, with the additions of OBJ and Von Miller and their pass rush, they should be able to beat the Cowboys. That's going to be their first round matchup, is what I'm projecting. I think they are going to get the 5 seed. If they do get the 1 seed, they're going to have a much easier chance to get to the playoffs. That's why they have to win out and definitely hope for some other luck to go their way. They're going to have to hope the Cardinals and Buccaneers collapse a little bit. So the Cardinals and Packers are definitely going to be moving on. So there's a lot of potential NFC championships. The Rams would definitely have to beat the Buccaneers again. They beat them really easily last time, and it's in Tampa Bay, and the Bucs coming off the bye week would definitely be a very tough game, but I think the Rams could do it again. So they're going to have to get through the Buccaneers and beat the Cardinals or the Packers on the road. So if they don't get that 1 seed, they're going to have to go on the road. So the Rams do need to win the West, and they do need to by all means, get that 1 seed. And it's not going to be easy because the Buccaneers have a cakewalk schedule. Cardinals have an easy schedule. The Packers have an easy schedule. The Cowboys have an easy schedule. So their chances of getting the 1 seed are low. They definitely can win the Super Bowl. I'd give them probably like a 20% chance. I'd say whoever wins the 1 seed is going to win the Super Bowl. So I see Cardinals upset against the Packers. If they host each other again in the playoffs, I see this as a playoff matchup right now. So if we go to the championship game, it's either going to be Packers-Rams or Cardinals-Rams in this situation. If the Falcons and Saints, assuming they're going to be first round exits, and the Rams take out the Cowboys. So if you go to the conference games, the Rams need to go through both those teams. Very evenly matched. Again, I think the Packers are interesting matchup for the Rams. I think the Rams can score on that secondary, although I think Aaron Rodgers can score. So it'll be a high-scoring game. That Packers defense has been playing better, so very tough matchups. But the Rams, again, they just need to get through the Buccaneers first. So tough competition, but I think this really improves them. I don't think the Titans game should be really any red flags that they're pretenders. They're definitely contenders. They're still going to be. I'm going to stick with my pick though. I think they can beat the Buccaneers again. And the Cardinals were one play away from beating the Packers last time. And a healthier Cardinals squad against a healthy Packers squad. If it's in Arizona again, or if it's in Lambeau, wherever it's at, I think the Cardinals would win. But the Rams on a rematch, if they put Ramsey on Hopkins and they take advantage of that secondary and they outscore them, outcoach them, which I think is possible they could. So if the Rams make it through to the Super Bowl, I definitely have them winning. A Derrick Henry, Tennessee-led team, that Titans defense is getting better. But it definitely could be a rematch between the Rams and the Titans, which I would pick the Rams over any AFC team right now. Those receivers are going to be really hard to stop. Matthew Stafford already leads the league in passing, and with another weapon, it's going to be crazy. Stafford could win MVP. That pass rush, the number one pass rush in football, is only going to get better with Miller. Give these guys time. I feel smart for picking them to go to the Super Bowl. I just wish I would have picked them to win the Super Bowl. But Stafford, again, another thing that could backfire is he doesn't have that much playoff experience. So a guy like Rodgers and Brady could very well see each other again in the championship game. But whoever comes out of the NFC is going to win the Super Bowl. The best offenses in the NFL are in the NFC. They're just better teams. The Titans without Henry, their defense has been playing a lot better, but that offense is not the same without him. The Bills are looking iffy for sure, with their passing game regressing, their run game, and their defensive numbers have been inflated. Their team stats have been inflated for playing inferior teams. We still don't know if the Browns are for real, if it's really OBJ. They had a really nice game against the Bengals, but we got to see more consistency. So, yeah, I'd say the Rams, it's the race for the 1 seed. And then if they do get it, I'd say they make to the Super Bowl. If they're in a wild card spot, I'd say they probably don't make it to the Super Bowl. If they're in the 5 seed, it's going to make it really tough. They're going to have to go through the Cowboys. They're going to have to go through all the top teams. So for the Rams to win the Super Bowl, I'd say they must win that number 1 seed. So if they win that 1 seed, they would get a first round bye, and then they'd be hosting the 5 seed. They would be hosting the Cardinals, and then they'd have less games they'd have to go through, and they'd have an easier chance at getting there. So it's all about getting there, but again, it's going to be a bloodbath. So any one of these the top teams in the NFC for me. So that's going to be it for me. I'd say Titans, Buccaneers, Titans, Bills, Browns are probably the most likely to make it. Lamar. I mean, the AFC is weird. We're not really talking about that. So, yeah, race to the 1 seed for the Rams. But thank you all so much for watching, like, and subscribe. See you.